We're back! The last you've heard from us, at least our regular viewers, the last you've heard from us was about 2 months ago. And we left a rather cryptic message on our community page saying something to the effect of we were off on our next great adventure. And that was it. He's never heard from us again. So now, it's about 2 months later and we're finally getting back to you. The adventure is actually over and we're going to let you know what we've been up to.
And if you're new to this channel, if you've never heard of us before, you likely found this video because you're interested in Leader Creek, working at Leader Creek, and you might be curious about what it's like to live there as well. So this video is for you, it's for our regular viewers, and if you are new to the channel, we ask that you check out all of our travel videos, and certainly stay tuned for this one because we're going to answer many of the questions that you likely have about living and working at Leader Creek.
So where are we? Where have we been for the last 2 months?
We're in Naknek, Alaska, and we certainly never heard of Naknek before, but well, there it is. It's out here on Bristol Bay on Alaska's west coast. We're
essentially in the back arse of nowhere, but we're here.
All right, so what is this? What is Leader Creek? You know, like I said, if you found this video because you're curious about Leader Creek, you probably already know what it is, but what about to our regular viewers? What can we tell them?
We have been processing wild sockeye salmon for the last 5-6 weeks. So that's what Leader Creek does right here on Bristol Bay. They process wild sockeye salmon.
And it's important to note that this is onshore. We're not out at sea processing there. We're doing this at a facility onshore. So as long as you complete your contract with Leader Creek, the company provides accommodation, food, and some transportation to their facility in Naknek, Alaska. We'll provide more detail on each of these things, the rate of pay, and the work itself in this video. So for now, let's show you the housing. Here are the 2 bunkhouses at Leader Creek. This one right here houses, I believe, mostly 6-bed rooms. And there are 2 floors, about 20 rooms on each level. And of course, communal bathrooms on each level. Right here, this bunkhouse is mostly 2-bed rooms, as well as a few single rooms, single bed rooms, and a few 4-bunk houses, or 4 bunk rooms rather, each level with communal bathrooms. There are about 36 rooms on each level here, and again, communal bathrooms on each level. So it's important to note that the vast majority of employees at Leader Creek are housed in either of these 2 bunkhouses right here. So we'll take a tour inside each one of them right now. Okay, here we are in a typical 2-berth room like Fiona and I have. This is for friends or a couple sharing. Let's check this out. So underneath each bed you have loads of storage space. There's an outlet over there. One there as well. There's a heater, louvered blinds, hooks for hanging your gear. There's a dresser, 2 drawers for each occupant, and broom, dustpan, garbage can. Did I point out the mirror? More hooks, and here's something Fiona was concerned about. She was concerned about how secure these rooms are going to be, and I gotta say that these doors right here are pretty thick, pretty sturdy, and each occupant is given a key, which makes sense. So as long as you remember to lock your door on the way out and you have your key with you for when you return, you should be fine. Here's an example of a 4-berth. So you got a dresser for 2, bed for 2, and again. So here's footage of a 6-person bunk. So let's check this out. I thought these were little microphones, you know, like, but they're reading lights, which is a pretty nice touch. And you have individual these little lock boxes right here. So I don't know if you have to bring your own lock or not, but you can, at least you can see that that's the case here. So you can put your personal things in there and lock them up during the day. Some little hooks to hang stuff off of as well. So
this is an example of a 6-berth room. So you could have 5 roommates.
Take one more look. There you go.
Leader Creek does provide basic bedclothes. When you arrive, you'll find your laundry bag with your name on it on your bed. Now in there you'll find a fitted sheet, a top sheet, a pillow, a pillowcase, and a very light fleece blanket.
And Leader Creek even does your laundry for you once a week. Simply take your dirty clothing, put them in the provided laundry bag, drop them off here, and pick them up here. This sign explains it all, and each room has one. Each bunkhouse had a communal restroom on each level. Obviously, we didn't feel comfortable bringing the camera in there, I'm sure you understand, so we're going to describe the restrooms for you. The men's room had, at least in Bunkhouse 20 where we were, had 3 sinks, 2 urinals, 2 toilets, and 4 showers.
And the women's toilets had 4 toilets, 3 sinks, and 4 showers. So there was piping hot water no matter what time of the day you went to take a shower, and that was perfect for easing any kind of achy muscles.
I want to talk about the Wi-Fi situation. There is Wi-Fi in the bunkhouses, but the internet is really inefficient and overburdened. I did a speed test on it. It was less than 1 megabit per second of both upload and download speeds. And so once you get a whole bunch of people on that network, just even simple web browsing is going to be difficult. There's also a cap on the amount of data that you could use, and it's 100 megabytes per day, which is good for just kind of checking emails and stuff. But like I say, the speeds are just insufficient for anything I found. Some people have been able to get talk, text, and data here. There is a cell tower just up the road from the bunkhouse. It just all depends on your carrier. You might be able to get your own coverage up here, and you might not. So, and if you don't have any coverage at all and you're relying on the Wi-Fi at Leader Creek, just be prepared to be completely underwhelmed.
And unreachable. Yeah. You really won't have any contact with the outside world.
Yeah.
Family, friends.
That's a strong possibility.
Yeah.
If you've ever thought about a digital detox, then this is your time to maybe consider it.
This is your place to come. You can make some money and stay away from technology. How did we get here?
The company actually flew us from Seattle to an airport called King Salmon, which is about a half an hour away from Naknek. If you're based around Anchorage, they fly employees from Anchorage out to King Salmon. And after you've completed your contract, you haven't quit or been fired, then the company will fly you back to whatever airport they flew you out of. We've completed our contract, and we're going to be flying from King Salmon back to Seattle.
Or, like we said, they'll fly you to Anchorage. Once you get to Anchorage or Seattle, it's on you then to get to your final destination or your next destination. Another perk of Leader Creek is they feed you. They provide 3 hot meals a day and 2 snacks. The snacks consist of sandwiches, biscuits, and cake.
Meals are served cafeteria or canteen style. You could eat as much as you want. Main dishes and sides are either processed or cooked from scratch, and everything was really good.
And of course, salmon is an option for all 3 of the hot meals. So, why are we here?
To earn money, obviously.
Yeah, we've been traveling for 5 years, so it was time to replenish the coffers. For anybody traveling, this is actually a fantastic way to make some really good cash really quickly. We've been here for just under 6 weeks, and it's absolutely grueling work. There's no denying it. If you come here, be prepared to work back-to-back 16-hour days for up to 3 weeks. So like I said, it's not an easy gig.
7 days a week.
7 days a week, and it's mandatory. And that's why we have notes today because we've not actually had time to sit down and put the video together. For the 2022 season, which is right now when we're here, the rate of pay is $15.85 per hour. That's your normal rate of pay.
You should know that by heart.
I know, I should.
By now.
Your overtime rate of pay per hour is $23.78. So think of that, for that potential 3 weeks of 16-hour days, 7 days a week. Just think of the chunk of change that you can make at that overtime rate of $23.78 an hour, and your straight normal time of $15.85 per hour.
And that
was the motivating factor that took us to Naknek.
And there are 12-hour days on either end of those kind of 16-hour stints.
So I suppose you want to know what the actual work is like. Obviously, the money is a big part of it, and in order to earn the money, you have to do the work.
It's cold, it's damp, you're standing in one spot for long hours, you're doing repetitive work, it's noisy, people are shouting. That's what it's like. It's physical too. It's extremely physical. Even some of the mechanical tasks where you're manning the machine, so to speak, there's a lot of effort that goes into doing that. Physical effort sometimes. So a lot of lifting, a lot of reaching,
stooping over tables, stooping over conveyor belts.
This is work. Again, this is very difficult, very grueling, physical, monotonous, yeah, and boring at times. But no, that's just the way it is. You're being paid good money to come here to do extremely physical work at a very fast pace, and the company lets you know that. So this isn't a walk in the forest, so to speak.
Yeah, definitely. It's not a holiday camp. You will put in long hours, but it's worth it. You know, you'll get in there very quickly, and in the space of 5-6 weeks, you'll have made a nice chunk of change. But you will have worked for it.
Indeed. I'd like to relate a funny story from the beginning of the season. There was an orientation going on for the new employees, and the person up there giving the speech, at the end of the orientation said, hey, something to the effect of, let's get on out there and do some hard work and slay some fish. And, cheers went up all across the crowd. And some woman behind me quietly said to the person sitting next to her, we don't actually have to kill the fish, do we? I thought that was pretty funny. But no, you don't have to kill the fish. They are already dead when they enter the plant. So I just want to put that out there in case you're sensitive to that kind of thing. The fish are already dead.
Just have to butcher them, that's all.
So don't come with any of your good clothing, because
really old clothes.
Right. The stuff that I brought was bought secondhand, and yeah, yes. It's ruined. It's actually ruined from just work. And
welly boots. Welly boots are a massive part of your wardrobe. This is the footwear that you will wear. These are the free wellies that Leader Creek provides. You also have the option of
buying extra toughs or Grundens. So both of those are brands, and they have like a specific model. And Leader Creek, for a cost of $50 to you, take it out of your paycheck, you can get a pair of brand new extra tough or Grunden boots. Choose your boots wisely. You get a chance to try them on before you commit to buying anything. You can try the free ones on.
Now, as we've already said, you're going to be working in a really cold, wet environment. So the first thing we'd recommend you do when you get to Leader Creek is get a locker. There's a bit of a distance between the bunkhouses and the plant itself. So on your break or on your meal times, the last thing you want to be doing is running back and forth between the two. Every second that you have to sit down there is absolutely precious. So if you have a locker, you can keep spare layers of clothing in the locker. Plus you can also keep spare dry socks in there, which is really important.
So when you're this far north as you are in Naknek, Alaska, be prepared in the summertime for over 20 hours of daylight. I'm talking daylight where you can go out at midnight, 1 o'clock, and still be able to read a newspaper or a book. So
yeah, we were actually here for the longest day of the year in June, and on that day we had, I think it was 21 hours plus of daylight. So just be prepared, it might mess with your sleep pattern, but then again, you're working 16-hour days, so it might not.
Yeah, I think I slept quite well through the daylight.
Yeah, we didn't have a problem with it, but just to let some people know, it could be something you might have an issue with.
Yeah, let's talk about the grizzly bear situation here.
We haven't seen any. But I know people coming back from the pubs at night have seen bears. They've seen them running along the road and running across the road. So they are around. Usually you see them, if you are going to see them, it's early in the morning or late at night.
Yeah,
typically.
We've heard reports too in the morning that where we're standing right now, this is near the marina, there have been a lot of bear sightings. So I've heard of mothers and cubs being spotted on Leader Creek property. And just to let you know, bears are around here, that's no joke.
Yep, just something to be aware of. Speaking of pubs, if you're after a bit of nightlife, there are 3 bars in the area, one of which is across the road from Leader Creek. Now, we didn't indulge ourselves because the beers were $8.50 each, so we decided to save our money instead. This was actually a record-breaking season for Leader Creek. We were really lucky. They broke quite a few records in a very short period of time, but the biggest record that they broke was they actually processed 20 million pounds of fish in right around a month, maybe just a wee bit less than a month. Now, for a plant this size, that's a massive amount of fish. There are other fish processing facilities around here that are much bigger, and 20 million pounds isn't such a big deal for them. But for Leader Creek and for a facility this size, massive, massive ordeal.
It's the 2022 sockeye salmon season.
Yeah, and we were lucky enough to be here for it.
Yeah.
And we were lucky enough to be here. Yesterday was our last day at work, and it was also the last day of processing fish, and you were one of the last people to put your hands on the last fish to go through.
Yeah, it was much smaller than I thought it was going to be. It was a pretty small fish, but yeah, that was a special moment, definitely.
Yeah.
I was pretty chuffed.
Yeah, it was an amazing experience to actually be there right through to the end for that last little fishy coming down the belt.
Okay, so our overall take on the entire experience at Leader Creek, living here and working here. I would say altogether it was a positive experience for me. The work was very difficult. I found my leads in my department to be quite fair and overall decent people to work with and to work under. It was tough work, but I'm glad I did it. I'm glad I finished my contract with Leader Creek and the work is done. And I gotta say, the people that I met too was probably the best part about the job. Likely you'll meet people from down the road from where you live. I did. The head chef here grew up probably 10 miles away from where I lived, and he's got family in my hometown. His grandma lived in my hometown, so just some really great people here.
It was an amazing experience. I think the word I've used most about this experience is intense. It is an incredibly intense experience on every level. From the minute you get here and when you start work, like we went into 16-hour days very quickly. You meet people, you create bonds with people, you make friends with people, and there are these very intense bonds and relationships and friendships because it's for this small little period of time, 5-6 weeks. But in that 5-6 weeks, it feels like you pack so much in together. You live together, you eat together, you work together, you're all on the same work schedule, you commiserate with each other together, you celebrate together. It's it's just incredibly, incredibly intense on another level. And I think most people that are here would probably agree. Just the intensity is something else. Inside work, outside work, it's intense, but fantastic. Again, the people we've worked with from all over have just been amazing. They have made the experience. You'll remember the work, you'll probably have the odd ache and pain that'll be the reminder of it, but you will definitely remember the people that you worked with. I think they made my day every day. Yeah, just brilliant experience.
Would we return again? That's a big question you hear. Are you going to return next year? Look, I could do that, you know, that could be my job right there.
Just bit the horn of the boat. There you go.
We do know we can return here, and that's nice. That's nice to know. We've definitely been invited back, and
yeah,
you know, some people have said that they hope to see us here next year, and never say never, but we'll
they
probably...
never know. They could see us here next year.
I know.
It's hard work, and I will say the company is very upfront with that in their job description. There are no surprises. They tell you from out the gate, you know, the 16-hour days, back to back, up to 3 weeks.
Yeah.
For us, it was a little bit longer than 3 weeks, but you know that there really are no surprises as long as you read the details and the job description. They put it all out there for you.
That's right.
So it's up to you to know those details. When you get here, though, and when you actually experience what the physical labor is like, they can tell you so much. They can tell you there's aches and pains. We can do the same. We can tell you, oh, you're gonna have aches and pains. But once you get here and experience it, that is different. And everybody's an individual, so everybody's aches and pains might be different, and it can affect some people more than others. So keep that in mind too, you know, how you are as a person, what you think you can tolerate maybe for 16 hours a day. It's not an easy gig, but it's a great gig. If you're looking for quick cash, it's your place.
That's a very fitting way of taking our trip back to Seattle from Alaska, I'd say.
One last salmon.